Okay, one thing that Diddy did have good luck on last week was something I wanted to get your take on because it's very similar. It has a lot of parallels with Suge Knight. But he got his $100 million judgment dismissed because it wasn't filed properly. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, and if the situation with Suge Knight would have been similar had he had a good lawyer team around him.
Yeah, we can look at it that way. That's definitely everything you said is factual about getting the judgment set aside. If y'all was on our live stream when me and Wack was talking and all of that, me and him was arguing about how that judgment was going to be set aside, and of course, as Reggie predicted, the next day it was set aside. But some would say the reason that $100 million judgment was set aside was because who can get in front now? The United States government. They can get in front of that $100 million judgment. Because trust me, they put a lien on all this properties right now. Everything, they got a lien on it. Because they trying to call this organization a criminal organization. And there's one of the things in the indictment where they trying to take his monies and his properties and assets from him because they calling it a criminal enterprise, which I think is a long stretch. But they do what they call some type of lien. I can't never think of the name of that lien that they put on you. But it's a lien that the government puts on your property. It just means that you can't sell anything without them giving permission to do it. And I believe that's what they got on all his access, is that type of lien on it, where they would know or be notified if he went to go and try to liquidate one of those properties. And now they're in front. They're in the front position where if that judgment wasn't set aside, then that particular gentleman would be in the front position. And so he would have to get that $100 million. Then they can get everything after that. That's just a conspiracy. That would be me being a conspiracy talker. I really believe, and just like I said before, we even knew that he was going to get indicted or whatever, that $100 million was going to be set aside. I knew that because on several cases where I know you have 6 months, if you can prove that you didn't know about the lawsuit and you had no knowledge of it, where you can have a default, not a judgment, a default judgment set aside. A regular judgment, you go to jury trial and get a judgment, then you want to appeal, you got to pay 1.5 times that amount to appeal it to stop the judgment proceedings. But a default judgment, you generally get 6 months to set aside because people will go and lie and say that they served you and they gave it this, and then you be like, you didn't even know, That's why a lot of corporations, they make you have an agent, what they call a person that you can go and serve. That'd be your agent of service, is what they call it. That's the person who, when you know you got a lawsuit, you're supposed to serve your agent on file, your agent on file. And so apparently that agent for Puffy or Puffy himself was never served, and they were able to approve it. Now, people will say, well, he went down there and met with the guy and offered him $2.3 million. Well, that's generally negotiation before the lawsuit. Just like I try to tell y'all, before all this shit, all this nightmare came out on Diddy, Cassie knew. I mean, Cassie lawyers and people were talking to his people. He was just being stubborn, arrogant, a narcissist, or whatever y'all want to call it, and was like, fuck it, do what you got to do. And then she did what she got to do, and I'm sure he wished he would have paid that $30 million, quietly, before, she had to file that lawsuit. And then he filed it, and then he pays and sell out with her the next day. That's the attorney he should be mad at. If you want to be mad at anybody, the motherfucker that advised you, that didn't make your ass settle and go advise you to settle the next motherfucking day, that's when you believe it was some smoke to that fire, or some fire to that smoke. And so, yeah, that would be my take on that, John.